Captain on the bridge.
Captain's back here on the bridge, and we are going to be using the Titan tonight. I've been watching a lot of Lower Decks lately, and it's just inspired me to use the Titan. And with all the videos I've released so far on YouTube, there's one console that I rave about the most, and that's the console that came with this ship. But we'll go over that when we go over the build. So what we're going to do is go over the build, weapons, space sets, consoles, traits, station doffs, and then take into Elite Argala and see how it does. Now, this build is inspired on what we saw on Lower Decks, along with a little bit of Memory Alpha, and with a bit of headcanon. But this is overall just meant for fun. So here we go. There she is. I just named it the USS Luna because we couldn't use the USS Titan, but it's the Titan Science Destroyer. So here in the 4 weapons, we have the gravimetric photon torpedo, which is from your Dyson rep. We have 2 advanced fleet photon torpedoes, which is from your fleet starbase, and the prolonged engagement photon torpedo, which was a event reward, but now you can actually get this from the Phoenix store, which is a very rare token. Deflector, nothing too different here. Elite Fleet Intervention Protomatter, which is from your fleet colony. Secondary deflector, this was a Deterrent secondary deflector, which was crafted. I think I just bought this off the exchange. The Prevailing Innovator Impulse Engines, which is from your competition rep. The Mycela Harmonic Matter Antimatter Core, and Utilities Review Pending Modified Shield, which is from your Discovery rep. In the aft weapons here, this is where a little headcanon comes in, and I'll show why. We have Elite Fleet Drenor Tricobalt Mine Launcher. This is just to help improve some of the performance of the kinetic damage that we're trying to push on the ship, because on screen it had a little bit more photon heavy, so I just threw my headcanon in there to put this on. And plus we have the Relocate Mines Captain Power, so that's why we're going to use that. So another photon launcher here. This was just a crit D damage 4, just crafted out there, rerolled to crit DM damage 4. And then the Trilithium Enhanced Omnidirectional Phaser Beam. This is just there for the visuals, because it was firing phasers, along with the weapon haste that it can give. There's a 2.5 chance to gain 10% firing cycle haste for this weapon, so why not? And of course it has all the other goodies that it can give here as well. It says here, when firing projectile weapons, 10% chance physical damage every 1 second, ignore shield, so why not? Now, it does come with an experimental weapon slot, and we just use a Soliton Wave Impeller because it's not so visually getting in the way, let's say. So it's just kind of a wave. You don't really necessarily see it, so we're just going to put that there just so that we can fill out the slot and help its performance out. Device-wise, we have the Kobayashi Maru, the Temporal Negotiator, and some Torp Candy. And our console slot. This, Captains, you know, is one of my favorite consoles in games. It's the opening salvo. It comes with this ship. And it is also used at the very high-end game to take down the shields of the board so that we can just go straight on damage to hull. And that's what it does. It literally takes the shields off, and the higher your skills are in, I believe, drain expertise, the longer this lasts. So I believe Nick told me this lasts up to 30 seconds if you have a lot of points spec'd into it. But this gives us also the quantum torpedo look, and that's why, again, I use this a lot on most of my builds, because it is just that great of a console. Binaural infusion circuits. This comes from the Lobi store. Your ferrofluid hydraulic assembly, which is going to help us for our shared torpedo recharge time from your Terran rep. Your ordnance accelerator, that comes from your Gamma rep. Your DPRM dynamic power redistributing module, which comes from your Atlas, which is a lockbox ship. The point defense bombardment warhead, this comes from your NX ship, which is a Lobi ship, and also the legendary NX. The two piece of the DPRM and this bombardment warhead gives us, don't discard that. Well, one, it gives us plus 25% projectile damage and one crit chance, 1% crit chance. This does give us a little phaser damage, which will sort of help our little lonely Omni Beam there. But that's just there for the looks. Tactical consoles here, we have the Lorca's custom fire controls, or the Lorcator. Again, comes from your Discovery rep. Very, very good console. 3.9 crit chance, 7.9 our setting, and then 157.5 Starship Shield pen. And we're also going to be using the Tri-Cobalt Tear Launcher, which is also one of my other favorite consoles, because when you fire this off, it actually looks like opening salvo. Bunch of quantums going out. So we're going to use that, but it also gives us plus 90% mine and torpedo damage with some shield penetration. So, and it looks good. The emulating phaser lance, since this is a torpedo heavy build, we're going to use this for two reasons. One, it gives us really good crit chance, crit severity, and helps us cool down our universal consoles with the trait universal designs. But it also helps almost emulate a beam overload look to it. It's going to look good, Caps, I guarantee. This comes from your Pilot Deimos Destroyer, which is like an R&D ship. And then here, lastly, is the Vulnerability Locator for Torpedo. That gives us plus 2% crit chance and plus 34.5 torpedo weapon damage. Now, this gives us a crit chance of 36.8% and crit severity of 176.3 with how we have it constructed right here. So now we'll go over the traits. We have a good day to die, the Boimler effect because Boimler got assigned to the Titan, spoiler alert. Self-modulating fire, resonating payload modification. The hot pursuit is for our one mine, but that Tri-Cobalt mine hits hard, so we're going to try to help boost that as much as we can. Of course, the superior projectile training, unconventional systems, Terran targeting systems, intelligence agent attaché, and into the breach. Starship traits, we have the entwined tactical matrices, which gives us the back-to-back torp spreads. The universal design trait that we were talking about earlier, that gives us the stacking crit chance and crit severity. Ceaseless momentum. Subspatial warheads. And one of my personal favorite traits, assault formation theta. So with this build, this is what is going to happen. When we activate our high yields, we get a high yield 3. But also, not that, when we activate our back pattern omega, we load up another high yield 3. And then with entwined tactical matrices, we have back-to-back torp spreads. So that's what we are working with here with these traits. And that, again, one of the things of shipbuilding is trying to synergize traits, weapons, stations, BOF power so that they work. But again, this is a build for me that I made to enjoy the ship. Space rep, we have our precision, advanced targeting systems, omega kinetic shearing, torpedo pre-fire sequence, and Tyler's duality. Active space rep, we have our anti-time entanglement singularity, biomolecular shield generator, forced challenge, tethered non-baryonic asteroid, and refracting tetryon cascade. We rarely use these, but they're there. We can use them if we need to. Our stations, this is what we got, left to right, top to bottom. Beam fire at will 1, scatter volley 1, high yield 3, attack pattern omega 3. Again, not only do we get an additional high yield 3, but we get all the benefits of attack pattern omega. Hematite laced weaponry. Emergency powered engines, emit unstable warp bubble, tractor beam, because this is a very Star Trek power in my opinion. You hold your enemies in place and you just spit torpedoes in their face. Scramble sensors, photonic shockwave. I put Gravwell here, but this is here if we are going to be using the science mode, but we're not going to be in science mode, we're going to be in tactical mode so that we have access to the attack panorama, which again is unique to the ship. I'll show that off here before we head off to the Argala. So jam targeting sensors, delayed overload cascade, so targets are going to be pushed out when this goes off. And concentrate fire power 3. And captains, you know I love the command specialization, so torpedoes, command, yes please. So there she is. Again, just wanted to show off this. Right now it's in tactical mode because we have access to the commander tactical, but when you hit the tactical mode again, it takes away the commander tactical and puts in the commander science for Gravwell. But again, we're going to be using this in tactical mode. So this is what we're working with tonight. Again, I was inspired to use this because of Lower Decks. I've been watching it, and I love that scene when the Titan swoops in to save the Cerritos. Shout out to my captains who are here with me. We have Anthony Taylor, Johnny in his USS Titan. That is an inside joke, but it's funny nonetheless, because I am Filipino, and that's just showing off the accent. Anyways, and of course, we got the Lusa / Donnie. The captain is there. She is. What we're going to do is take this into an elite Argala and see how it does. We'll go patrols on elite difficulty. We're going to go Argala.
Benson, take us out of here. Maximum warp.
Aye, sir.
Engage.
And we're going to head into it with feels, captains. All right, when we get in here, we're going to launch our mines so we can relocate them. Don't know why it loves to do this shaking tray thing. We'll launch the mines. See some vessels there.
Tactical alert. Vessel approaching, bearing 184, Mark 7.
All hands. Battle stations.
We're in tactical mode right now.
Weapons hot, deflectors to full.
Relocate the mines there. Get her. Ooh. She's a nimble ship. And I almost read myself, or gravimetric torpedoed myself. Had to be careful. Good thing we have DPRM. I got a little too excited there. That's okay. Here, we're gonna save our opening salvo for the next group, along with our tear launcher. And it will look like quantum torpedoes. So let's buff up. Ooh, there's a delayed over cascade going off. Again, we still have our phaser look there. There was our kind of beam overload with the emulating phaser lance. Torp spread. Oh. He's a nimble ship. Whew. There's a torp spread from the aft. Take her out. Get out of the way! Oh! Again, be careful of that high-yield gravimetric torpedo. I can't help it though, it's my favorite torpedo. It is what it is. Good thing this is just a game. Good thing this is just a game. There you go, relocates, opening salvo. Okay, get away from the hunt. Gravimetric torpedo. I know I've been told not to use it, but I love it.
Possibly consistent with bolt holes, temporary hideouts.
Jeez, look at that. 3 gravimetric torpedoes. Bye. See, that is just such a cool visual. Tractor beam in place. He ain't going anywhere. There you go.
We do what we want, where we want.
Oh. And this is why torpedoes need to be faster. Need to be faster. Because there shouldn't be a reason why I can outfly my torpedo. Here. Yes! With a grav torp. There you go, last group. Alright, let's go get the flagship first. Make sure we kind of fly behind the gravimetric torpedo. But the visual on that torp just looks so good. Opening salvo, try cobalt tear launcher.
That's got it. Excellent work. We'll send over
Just
a
like that.
pacification party, take the suspect into custody.
Just like that.
Thank you for your
Right,
assistance.
1 sec, sir. We'll head over here. Usual place here to take a ship selfie, or what we call a shelfie here on the bridge. Because we like looking at pretty ships. So there it is, the Titan. Now, if it wasn't for the gravimetric torpedo that I killed myself with, this would have been an excellent run. But that was my fault. That was my fault. Other than that, this ship is great. I was excited to build this out tonight because, like I said, I've been watching a lot of Lower Decks, and that scene when we first saw the Titan come rescue the Cerritos was just good. They just did that scene so much good. So much just feels in that scene just right there. So this is the ship we'll be using tonight. I highly recommend you get the ship captains. It is also used in the high end as supports in very high end ISC runs. It's a very, very good support ship. But like I said, it also does come with opening salvo, which is one of my personal favorite consoles in the game, just because of how good it looks and what it does in taking down the enemy shield so that we can get to the hull of the target that we're hitting. So again, highly recommended. It's a great ship, and it's canon now. One of the things that was about thing around the ship was it wasn't canon, quote unquote canon, because it was just only mentioned in the novels, but now it is on screen. And the job that they did on this ship visually, it looks just so good. Just so good. But captains, consider liking, commenting, subscribing to our YouTube channel, where we put out these builds of the ships that we use every night here on Twitch. I invite you here to the bridge where we do a lot of PvP shenanigans, but we'll leave it there.
Live long and prosper. Permission to disembark, sir.
Granted.